I don't. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Energy RX. I'm your host, Christine Paschal. And today's guest, I am really so excited to get to have her on here. This is someone who I have used her technique for more than 20 years. She is a true visionary, a bridge between worlds, and a pioneer in the field of integrative healing. I am so honored to welcome Dr. Devi Nambudripad, the founder and creator of NAET, Nambudripads Allergy Elimination Technique. It's a revolutionary, non-invasive, drug-free approach that has transformed the way we understand and address the energetic imbalances that manifest as allergies, sensitivities, and chronic conditions. Dr. Devi's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Trained as a chiropractor, acupuncturist, registered nurse, medical doctor, there's nutrition. She'll tell you all about her. She's a wealth of information. She combines the wisdom of Eastern healing traditions with the precision of Western medicine. Her own personal battle with severe allergies led her to discover that many physical, emotional, and even behavioral issues could be traced back to subtle energy disturbances in the body, and that by clearing these energetic conflicts, profound healing could occur. Since that discovery, she has trained 20,000 plus practitioners worldwide and helped countless individuals, from children with autism to those suffering from chronic illness, reclaim their balance, vitality, and well-being. Dr. Devi brings a deep compassion, a scientific mind, and a soul-level understanding of the body's innate capacity to heal. In this conversation, we're going to explore the origins of NAET, the energetic root causes of illness, and what it truly means to live in harmony with your own body. So settle in, open your heart, and get ready to receive the wisdom of really, honestly, truly a master healer. Dr. Devi, I am so honored to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So what I would like to do before we get into your story, how you developed this amazing technique, I would like to share with you, my audience, how I found Dr. Devi. So this was 20 years ago, and I was living in Thousand Oaks, California. And my son had, for a year, been struggling with chronic sinus infections. And I would know when he would have a sinus infection because his behavior actually would get really bad. He was misbehaving in class and just irritable and grouchy. That was really, it became the sign for me that he has another sinus infection. Now, at the time in Thousand Oaks, his pediatrician was one of my dearest friends and a wonderful doctor. We knew they were in fact sinus infections, but he actually sent him, I think it was a CAT scan or an MRI that confirmed that yes, absolutely, he has a sinus infection. We went to ENTs, we went to allergists, we went to intestinal allergy. We went to doctors all over Los Angeles trying to understand what was causing these chronic sinus infections. And we couldn't find anything. So they're painful. And so he would have to take courses of antibiotics when he would get these, which I've always been very holistic. So even 20 years ago, I understood that it was really hard on his system to be taking this, but I didn't know what else to do for the little guy. And finally, my doctor, he said, Christine, honestly, I don't know what to do with him. He said, I've thrown everything I have at this and I'm at the end of the road. He said, the only thing I can tell you is that my partner, Rhonda, and she's a Harvard-trained physician, has been sending her very difficult to solve cases to this woman who is an acupuncturist and does some kind of technique that she's having incredible results with. And I was like, oh my gosh, you should have given me this a year ago. We could have bypassed this whole thing. So of course I would have done anything. I would have danced around a fire naked to find a solution for my child. So we went to this office in Simi Valley, and her name is Dr. K, and an acupuncturist. And I walked into the office, and she did an assessment of him and asked what was going on. And I forget exactly what was happening in the assessment, but I've done energy work for 30 years, and sometimes you just know. And I started just crying in the office because I knew I had finally found a true healer. And he never had another sinus infection again after walking through her office that day. Now, we did do treatments for the good part of a year weekly. And every time I would go into the office, it was some next miracle story as I'm waiting in the waiting room and talking to people, like over and over, just story after story of incredible healing. And I had a really incredible experience because this is something I watched right before my eyes happen. My youngest child was 2, and she fell at the gym in, like, the little gym daycare, and she cut her chin open. And I think what had happened is that she was inoculated, like the cold sore virus. She ended up breaking out in this horrible, like that first rash from getting cold sores all over her mouth, all over her chin. It was terrible. Like, I think they may be inside her. It was horrid. And so I called Dr. K. I didn't know what else to. My first call was because I knew this woman was like a magician. She got me right in, and she did this treatment, and she gave me a spray also. But the next day they were like 40, 50% better. And then the day after that, they were like barely there. Within a few days, they were gone. It was like I watched them shrink before my eyes. And I absolutely couldn't believe it. So I I moved from Thousand Oaks to Salt Lake City. And in Salt Lake City, I have a wonderful man who practices NAET. And I didn't know this, but apparently he was a teacher for a long time as well. His name is Dr. Thomas Anderson. And whenever I've several things, and for me personally, if there's something that is really hard to solve or a medical issue that I'm like, I need you to help me understand this and work with it, he's pretty much my first call at this point. And I use Western medicine, but I use this technique in conjunction with anything else that I may be doing with Western medicine. And it's been absolutely just phenomenal. So, Dr. Devi, thank you for developing this incredible treatment.
That's an amazing story, Christine. I'm so impressed. Thank you. So after 20 years, you are still good, right?
My kids are great. Now, the Dr. K, one of the things she did tell me. So now, mind you, he had all of those allergy tests and nothing showed up. They're like, he has no allergies. That's what
Right.
we were told. And she said, do not give him milk. Now, she treated him for it, but she said, like, he can have some cheese and have some other things, but his system will do better not having milk. And so we cut out the milk, and he's still to this day, like, he just doesn't want it, I think. He doesn't really love dairy.
Uh,
So he doesn't eat a lot of it, but he's never had another sinus infection.
Great. Yeah, we have developed new techniques after that, after K took the class. So once when you go through that, milk will not be any problem anymore. So with the newest techniques, as you asked, we evolve and develop more things along with this. Anyway, it's good to start with your story. That's really amazing.
Yeah, it's sort of been amazing, and I continue to use it. And so I've always been so curious because so this technique, it's a fusion, it feels to me, of many different techniques. Like, how did somebody even think? How did somebody even think to put all of these things together and have this amazing, like, and have the results that you get? So I think, and I'm just going to say this. So when you have a treatment, there's a combination. They use muscle testing to talk to your body. I think you kind of weave in some of the acupuncture with some of the things, and not with needles, but some of the points, and then your understanding of homeopathy. And so I think people would love to understand maybe a little bit about your story, and then how this system like how you developed it.
Okay, if I'm not going to bore people, I can tell you the story. I love my stories. So I can share my earlier incidents of NAT, how I discovered and everything. I
Right.
can say what is NAT and how it was born in one sentence,
Okay.
actually. But
Okay.
however, that you wouldn't understand a thing about it. So I would like to take a minute or to explain what exactly an AT is and how it was born. Is that okay?
You take all the time you want. Anything you wanna share, I'm excited about.
Okay. If you are tired of listening to my story, you can say, "Oh, stop it."
No, 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 I'd love to hear your story. My listeners, we would love to hear how this incredible technique was born.
Okay. Okay, I hope so. So NAT is the short form of Nambudripads allergy elimination technique. And when I discovered this, I didn't know what to call, so I just named it after my last name. That's why I
Okay.
started. It's a unique method of treatment I developed in 1983, almost 42 years ago. But you should understand, I'm not 42 years yet. I'm much younger than that. But I don't know how this happened in my another life. Okay, this one, Nati, is developed enough to reduce my sensitivities and allergies to foods I suffered since childhood. Those days, there was no effective treatment known to doctors for food sensitivities except strict avoidance. I'm talking 42 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
And I was in India. I don't know if anybody had any other clue here in America. I have no idea, but I have never found anything yet. How could you follow strict food avoidance when you are sensitive to all types of foods and drinks known and available to you? It was not possible for me to starve 24/7. So I tried to eat some simple, harmless food. At least I thought it was harmless then. Even those harmless foods made me sick and caused several health problems, like a moderate to severe general body ache. That was one of the biggest one for me. 24/7, my body ached. Even sleeping, I don't know how I slept, even with that pain all the time. And the doctors now call that as fibromyalgia. Those days, no name of fibromyalgia, nobody ever heard of it. At least not my doctors. Then I had non-stop coughing and sinusitis through the day. My nose will be dripping and draining all the time and coughing all the time. And then that will end up in bronchitis, frequent bronchitis, unresponsive to any medications, severe insomnia during the nights. I can't even sleep. Then felt drowsy during the day, felt nauseous if I try to eat any food, but I have to eat something. So I will eat something, then I'll be nauseous and bloating and no rest at all the whole day. I'll be in that kind of pain. My doctors had no answer. I saw several medical specialists, holistic doctors, and other healers during this process of many years. No one had any answer to my health problems. I shared my feelings to my mother after I this America. Okay, I was here, I got married, and I came here, and my husband was here already. So then here I got worse because my husband was also having a lot of problems, and he was under the care of a nutritionist and eating all this extremely good nutrition. And so I started eating a little bit of his, I'll share them, and that made my conditions worse. Everything started getting me really body ache and bronchitis continued, and I had bronchitis continuously for 3 years, and my even now that can show on my lungs when I take lung scans the remnants of those scar tissues. Okay, so I was so sad that I'm here. I thought I'm going to do a lot of things, and suddenly everything came to a standstill. So I was sick, sick, sick. So I shared my feeling to my mother. So she advised me to pray and observe water fasting on all Hindu holidays. That is almost 5 days a week, except Wednesdays and Sundays. All other days, water fast. So our water fast is like this: drink 8 glasses of boiled cooled water and eat a few pieces of certain fruits through the day, bananas or something like that. No other food can be consumed during those fast days. I could eat anything I wanted to on Wednesdays and Sundays, the days I did not fast. I strictly followed my mother's advice. Believe it or not, I started feeling great on the days after the fast. That gave me enthusiasm to continue the fast. Definitely, prayers helped me to overcome my sadness and depression. But something else also happened in my body from doing this water fast. I was strictly avoiding all types of food 5 days a week. That included all foods I was sensitive to. This fasting regimen gave my body a chance to throw out all food toxins accumulated in my body since childhood. Drinking 8 glasses of water enhanced the process of detoxification by helping to flush out the toxins from my body and help me to keep my energy meridians and blood circulation clean and pure. I felt energetic and good without any usual health problems while I was on this fast. So I was able to concentrate on my school. After a while, I started getting lazy to observe strict fasting anymore, just like anybody else, right?
Sure.
So you can't continue forever. So I let go fasting most days and I tried to eat clean organic produce and grains. All my previous health problems began to return one by one, like arthritis, migraines, eczema, general body ache, insomnia, etc. Finally, I graduated from my school. By this time, my ideas changed. Instead of working as a regular doctor, I decided to search for a way to solve my food sensitivities and allergies so that I didn't have to continue with the water fast forever, so that I didn't have to be afraid to take a bite of normal food. I could eat some normal food without making me sick. This time, my mother did not have to advise me to pray anymore. I started praying to God to help me find a way to solve this problem of my sensitivities and allergies on my own. That was the biggest thing happened on this regimen of fasting when I continued the fasting. During my ongoing search for a treatment to reduce my sensitivities and allergies, I attended several disciplines of medicine: allopathy, acupuncture, chiropractic, homeopathy, and nutritional medicine, etc. I gathered all good ideas from these branches of medicine and put them together and developed a treatment method that freed me permanently from all my food intolerances, food sensitivities, and food allergies. The discovery of NAET was a life-changing moment for me. NAET was discovered quite by accident on Friday, November 25, 1983, approximately around 2 p.m. That's the birth time of NAET.
I love that.
3.5 years prior to my discovery of NAET, I had been suffering from numerous health problems as described earlier. I was in chiropractic college at that time. Then I saw a chiropractor who was also an acupuncturist and kinesiologist. This doctor tested me, watching my bronchitis and coughing nonstop. He brought a lot of variety of items. Through standard muscle response testing, he tested me, that is applied kinesiological muscle testing. He found that I reacted negatively to virtually every food and environmental items tested, except 2 items: long grain white rice and broccoli. He jokingly said that if I could live on just white rice and broccoli, I would feel a lot better. He must have thought it was impossible to live on these 2 food items alone, right? To me, it was like a God sent message. I literally took his advice and continued to eat white rice and broccoli only and drink a lot of water daily. That's all I did.
Wow.
Soon started feeling much better. Within 1 week, my body aches reduced. My lungs started behaving better. Most of my other symptoms slowly reduced. I was able to concentrate in my schoolwork. Even I couldn't believe the changes I noticed just by avoiding all those allergic food. And when he was pushing my hand, I was fighting with him. No, doctor, I don't have any allergy to this. You are pushing my hand too hard. That's the reason my hand is going down. And I have seen so many doctors so far, nobody has ever mentioned that I have any allergies. And I don't believe it. You're too strong. He was a skinny guy. Maybe I'm bigger than him. But still I was fighting. Oh, you are very strong. That's the reason you are able to reduce my hand. Then he put the white rice in my hand and he pushed. I am so strong. Then he put a piece of broccoli And that also I was strong. Then I convinced, I said, oh, there is something to it. Until then, I could not even trust his testing because how can you be so big on every items that he bought about 30, 40 items from home. And so he was showing this in the kinesiology class. At the time of NAET discovery, I was in my final year of acupuncture school, actively engaged in clinical training. One afternoon, after returning home from school, I found that there was no cooked rice left. My only safe food. I always depend on the cooked rice, and I always cooked a lot and kept it in the fridge. Then I can heat it up and eat it whenever I want it. I was extremely hungry, so I quickly set some rice to cook on the stove. While waiting, I grabbed a few pieces of raw carrots to munch on, my husband's favorite snack, which we always had in the house a lot. I had only eaten 2 or 3 small pieces. Suddenly, I experienced intense abdominal cramping, nausea, and lightheadedness. Fortunately, my husband was nearby. I immediately asked him to test the strength of my arm and using the MRT muscle response test. And while I held the remaining carrot in my hand, my arm muscle tested very weak, confirming a strong allergic reaction to the carrot consistent with the physical symptoms I was experiencing. The abdominal pain and the general weakness continued, so I decided to give myself an acupuncture treatment. I was already in the acupuncture clinic, final term, so I was really good in needling myself. Mm-hmm. So I gave the needles and I lie down, and my husband set a timer 40 minutes and he left. And soon after that, I fell asleep. And holding the piece of carrot in my hand, I didn't know, without knowing, I dropped the carrots on the bed. Actually, I was, testing, and I was in a panic mode, almost like a passing out kind of feeling. But then I was able to needle myself though. Then I laid on that carrot without knowing. Okay. Then when I woke up, after the timer went off, I woke up from the treatment. I noticed something very unusual. I felt a distinct shift in my energy, something I had never experienced in any previous acupuncture sessions. I used to have reactions and I used to get needles before too, but not this severe. As I became more alert, I realized that the piece of carrot I was still holding in my hand, and there are few remnants of pieces still in my body, sticking to my body, because I must have dropped that in the panic. I was going to pass out. Now what? Suddenly I'm trying to put the needles, so everything was lying on the bed, and I slept on that. So I remembered what I had recently studied in acupuncture theory. Certain needles help circulate and balance the body's electrical energy. If energy blockages are present, acupuncture can help clear them, restoring the body's balance. At that moment, a new insight came to me. The contact with the allergen during the acupuncture treatment may have played a role in desensitizing my reaction to the carrot.
Oh my gosh, this is an amazing story.
So I was I still get excited when I think about that experience. That was, like a godsend experience and incident. I mean, I guess another thing, before I had this 4 years ago, while I was having all these problems, I went to one of the doctors, one of the neurologists and he told me, Devi, you are lucky to have a lot of different things, but you are not so lucky in your health. Now you are having all this body aches and everything. This is the sign of severe arthritis. I did have arthritis, and in a couple of years' time, you're going to be in the wheelchair. Then soon, who knows what's going to happen? You may not survive that long. Okay. Wow. That was 2 years ago. He told me by the time I'm 30, 35 years old, probably I will not live that long. Then after this happened, after I discovered all this, and then I knew God does not want me to die that soon. He wanted me to live longer. So after I was really sure that this allergy technique is really working, so I went looking for that doctor after I got well. Okay, I wanted to tell him how I am, and I wanted to talk to him about guess what? A year before I went looking for him, he died of meningitis,
Oh my god.
viral meningitis. Yeah, so I couldn't even share with him
Oh,
my discovery. So it's a long. So many things happened in my life. So anyway, this profound experience became a foundation. What would later be developed into Nambudripads allergy elimination technique, or NAET, a holistic, non-invasive dra- groundbreaking method for identifying and eliminating allergies. After the acupuncture treatment, I asked my husband, who had been assisting me throughout the process, to test my muscle strength again using the muscle response testing. Earlier, while holding the carrot in my hand, my tested arm went very weak. Now, to my amazement, the same muscle tested very strong. Without doing anything else except this acupuncture treatment. And acupuncture treatment, and plus I was lying on the carrot. That's the only difference from the real acupuncture treatment I was getting. So, I realized what happened. In that this energetic field of the carrot had interacted with my own energy field, and somehow my brain had reclassified what was once a harmful substance as a harmless one now. The energetic conflict between my body and the carrot had been resolved. This was the remarkable new discovery I made at that time. Okay.
this is incredible.
To confirm what had happened, we continued muscle testing every hour for the rest of the day.
Okay.
I get so obsessed with the testing things like that, even
Yeah,
now.
well, you probably, when you first test, like, oh, this is a mistake because, like, how
Yeah.
did it happen?
Yeah. So my husband cooperates with me, whatever crazy things I do. Of course, he won't fight. Yeah, he won't fight with me. So okay, do that, whatever you want. So the result remained consistent through every hour. I'm testing strong, no problem. Continued eating carrots next day onwards, and no problem. I was still enjoying the carrots, and no bloating, no abdominal pain, no energy shift, nothing. So it became clear my central nervous system had learned a new non-reactive response to the stimulus. In some mysterious yet profound way, the treatment had reprogrammed my brain. This experience marked the beginning of a journey. I began treating my own allergies one by one, followed by those of my family members. My son was allergic to a lot of things. My husband was allergic to a lot of things, and we started treating all these people. Within a year, I had cleared myself of most of my food and environmental allergies using this new technique. Gradually, I began applying the same method in my clinical practice. Time after time, patients experienced similar results, and allergies were eliminated, and they did not return. Today, after having treated thousands of patients for a wide variety of allergens, my allergy patients and my trained practitioners patients together, probably we must have treated millions of cases already. The method is no longer an experimental. It has become a proven, reliable NAT treatment protocol. This is practiced over 20,000 practitioners, healthcare professionals worldwide. There are many, like one third of them may be medical doctors, one third acupuncturists, and one third chiropractors. That's why I look at all of them, and I count it pretty much like that. So that many
Mm.
people are there. Also, we have naturopaths and DVMs. They all have studied my techniques. They all are not that many numbers, but chiropractors, acupuncturists, and medical doctors, they are more than other people. They all are treating. Some of them are doing full-time NAET. Some of them mix with whatever they are doing, and they all get fantastic results.
It's fantastic. So, in order to become, for those of you listening, to become a practitioner of NAET, you must be either an MD, a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, or a registered nurse. Is that right? Or
Yes,
can anyone else?
anybody with a license, a medical license.
Anyone with a medical license, so like a massage therapist couldn't get it.
Yes, now we are also including massage therapists because they are licensed medical workers, and they also can take our classes.
I
Yes.
did not know that.
Yeah, we just started last year because some of the people approached me. When I looked at it, they have 1 year or plus education in the medical field, and most of them are other doctors, other kind of degrees they hold, and they do the muscle massages just for adding to
Okay.
the to get the license. Without license, we don't allow anyone coming into our class.
Okay, that is really great information.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that's really nice that if you're someone who you're thinking, and we'll get into all the different things that it treats, but anywhere in the world that you are, you can get on the NAET website. I think it's naet.com.
NAET.com.
Okay, so you can put in your where you live and you'll get a list of everyone who is practicing who has gone through the training. But what's really fantastic is it shows the levels that they've taken. So if someone's just taken maybe one course so they know a little bit about it, they may use it a little bit. But someone who has a lot of courses underneath them, like when I moved to Utah, my doctor, Dr. K, said, let's get on the website to see who's the best, the most highly trained. And that's how we found Dr. Thomas Anderson. So that's a really nice tool to be able to find somebody who is very well trained in your area. I mean, I know you have a lot of people who practice in the United States, but you're all really throughout the world, Europe, Asia, I think even the Middle East. Is that right?
Yes, and also Iran, Iraq, we have people all over there. They cannot come to America because of this online training. We have online training, so they all can join it. So it's a
Okay.
fantastic thing we started in 2016. We started training online. So all the basics, advances, everything online. So people can attend from their own home, wherever they are from all over the world, Australia or Europe or Asia, Japan, Canada, everywhere.
That's amazing. So, can I ask you something about NAET and how you can receive it? Is NAET, I know that when someone's receiving a treatment, you can sometimes use a surrogate body if maybe someone is not able to be there in person themselves. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, yes, we can do that. Yeah.
So, is
We'll be talking about that a little later. I plan to explain that too.
Okay, great. But is this something that, let's just say there's someone who lives in a very remote area and they don't have access to a doctor. Is it possible, like through a surrogate or something else, to receive an NAET treatment virtually?
It's like a distant healing. Since, I'm just going to talk about the research aspect first, then
Okay.
I will address that issue,
Okay.
why I'm not encouraging that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So let me just say a little bit more about this research and funding of NAD, so
Uh-huh.
that way you'll understand a little more why we are not out there everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. The reason for not NAD not being very popular everywhere, I'll just tell you that.
Okay.
Over the years, we have conducted several small scale studies, including single blind and double blind and placebo controlled trials, with the subject numbering ranging from 8 to 10,
Right.
like not even a drop in the ocean. These studies were primarily designed to satisfy my own scientific curiosity and to better understand the effect of NAT treatments. I did not really do this to publish because I know there is no way I can publish this.
Okay.
So I wanted to see if it really works. So I know it works, but I wanted to prove it to myself. Yes, I'm not really imagining it's all not in my brain alone. I wanted to see on other people. So I had 8 people, or 10 people, 5 control and 5 real, like that. We
Hmm.
did those, and we always did the blood test before and after, and plus along with our special muscle testing. Okay, that's why I did that. So we were really pleased and encouraged by the results we observed. That is before I started my online training. I did all that because I did not want to just throw out the training without knowing what I'm doing. So I had to really understand. So that's why I did that. And despite the promising outcomes, major medical journals are generally unwilling to publish studies with such small sample sizes. You all know that, no matter how compelling the data may be. Unfortunately, we have not been able to conduct larger scale studies to meet the standards expected by the broader scientific community. primarily obstacle has been a lack of financial resources.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
In AT Foundation, we have a research foundation, but I am the main contributor to my foundation because we don't have people going and seeking for funds from other places and everything else like that. Some of our practitioners donate a little bit of money. Other than that, mainly I donate from my income to continue the foundation's workload.
Huh?
So we operate with a limited funding and does not have the financial capacity to support large multi-center clinical trials because NAET is a natural drug-free treatment based on acupressure and acupuncture and often results in lasting relief from allergy related health conditions such as asthma, migraines, arthritis, eczema, other skin disorders, etc. But who benefits from this? The primary beneficiaries are the patient themselves. Okay, because we don't have any like a promotion or promote the use of pharmaceuticals or commercial products, etc. There is very little financial incentive for pharmaceutical companies or large funding bodies to invest in NAT research. As a result, despite its potential to dramatically improve lives, NAT remains underfunded and under recognized in the mainstream scientific and medical communities. So that's the reason NAT is not widely known everywhere except through my training, through my practitioners, and through our patients. So if you really go look in we have done few couple of studies, like case studies, and one of the autism study we did, like a 60 patient study that is published. But now we are doing a major autism study. Our goal is to get 10,000 to 1,200 subjects, but we are still working on that. It may go on for another 2-3 years more. So if anybody is interested in the autism study, they can go to my website, naet.com, and find the global autism study so they will get some ideas. If they have any interest, they can how to sign up and everything. Then there's a process to go through, all the qualification process, and if they qualify, the child can get 50 free treatments through the year. So that is that.
Oh, that's amazing. So I want to make sure I'm clear on this. So there's a form or something that someone fills out, and if their child qualifies, then they may be able to get up to 50 free
Yeah.
treatment.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
We,
huge.
yeah, we have 100, 100 practitioners taking part in the study. So their names are listed. So they are all over Canada. Yeah. So they can find, if they can find a practitioner closer to their home, they can go call them and see if they have any opening to accept them. Then they can go through the initial process, how to get in and everything. So
Okay. Well, that's a great thing. I can think of one person right now who may want to try to do that.
yeah.
So I have a question too. I think this is quite interesting. So obviously you have research with autism and that's fascinating. So hopefully there's some, extra funding may come in from somewhere who wants to solve some of these issues. That would be wonderful. But there are so many conditions that it treats. One of the things that I noticed when I was sitting in the waiting room with Dr. K was that there were a lot of women in the waiting room who were working with fertility, who were able to get pregnant, who had through using this technique. And so what I thought was interesting was I listened to a podcast that you did that was specifically about infertility, and
Uh,
you treated just in your private practice 1,000 women. Is that correct?
Yeah, I practiced almost 35 years. So during that time, I had that many people
So
come
you
in.
helped 1,000 women be able to conceive.
Yes, since 1996 onwards, we continue to treat and we have fantastic results. And many other practitioners, they have the similar results too. So many children are born through us. Even with all that, America says we don't have enough population. We need to have more babies.
Well, yes. So this is what I thought was sort of interesting was that there was in this podcast, you were used to seeing someone once they started your treatment be able to conceive. I forget, maybe it was within 6 months. Is that right?
Yeah, usually by the time we finish the basic treatments, basic 17, 18, so that's the time we address the hormones and everything. And most of the people will get pregnant right away. And some people, if they have, some of them, they went to Stanford and Harvard and everything for the researchers and everything and didn't have any success. Those people, we also supplement with some acupuncture or some Chinese herbs along with it to open up all the meridians and everything, and they also became successful.
Okay. But there was a funny story you told that there was out of those 1,000, there was one person that was beyond the 6-month period. And so you called her in because you were like, what's going on? Can you tell that story? Okay. Well, so there was a client who came in, she was concerned that it had been more than 6 months and she hadn't conceived. So she called her in to see like we needed to be doing some other support or something. Well, it turns out that she didn't have a partner. And so she had a partner when she started treatment, but continued the treatment. But the reason that she hadn't, and this was a red flag to Dr. Devi. She was like, "Come in. What is going on? Why are we not getting any success?" So that was the reason, which I thought was kind of an interesting story. But enough to your credit that you didn't understand. You're like, out of these 1,000 people, what's gone wrong here? Anyhow, so I thought that was really pretty amazing.
Mhm.
So what I think is interesting is you talk about um, allergies and then there's sensitivity. So with my son, for example, he went and he had the allergy testing and he looked perfectly fine. And then when he was tested by Dr. K, he like, look, there were several things. I mean, we spent a year. There were a lot of things. Even sometimes it's environmental. It could be a metal, and it can be other things. But clearly, the dairy was such a huge issue for him. Can you just explain a little bit the difference between an allergy and a sensitivity and how that energetically affects our body?
Yes, we all have different levels of sensitivities. Some are very, very mild, some are little more than that, and some are maybe good amount of sensitivities. And then we will say allergies. True allergies, like IG mediated allergies. If you do the blood test, you'll get the IgGs and IgEs high. Right. Some of them are IgG mediated. They are supposed to be very low level sensitivities, but the IgEs are the hard ones, like classes 1, 2, 3 to 6, the big allergies. Okay. So those are the hardest one. And nobody knows why kids get these allergies. No one knows the real reason of getting the allergies. Maybe inherited. Parents have it, or grandparents had it, or uncles had it. The allergies can always skip generations, and it can show it on the younger generations. It's possible. And in some cases, with the NAET, with the blood work, when you do it, if it is a sensitivities or allergy, mild allergy or severe allergy, different categories, it can show up. But if it is very mild allergy, it may not show on the blood test at all. Okay, you need to have about 20 to 30% damage in your system, then only the blood work can pick up that as a um, problem in your body. So some allergies are only at the energetic level. When you touch it every day for a while, you start getting sick. Or if you eat every day a little bit, that can just get higher, like that. Otherwise, even on a regular basis, when you eat it, you're okay. Most people can eat most other things. They may just have a little bit of sinus problems or a little bit of cramping or flatulence or something like that. Other than that, they don't even notice much difference in their body. Some people will have nothing but except gaining some weight. That's all they have. No other symptoms at all. So those things we consider as a normal thing, which when we test through the muscle testing, especially NAET muscle testing, NAET muscle testing is different from the applied kinesiological muscle testing. With our testing, we can find out even the minute sensitivity, like even if it is in your energy field or if it is within 10 feet away from your energy field, we can check it and see that item is not good for you. So, for example, how do I say that? Okay, somebody's sitting in a sofa and a new person came to this visiting you. Okay, you had a plant next to your sofa about 5 or 6 feet away, and this new person, your guest, comes to your sitting room, sitting there, and suddenly she started feeling funny feeling, start sneezing or continuous sneezing or itching or something like that, then when you look at it, that person is allergic to that plant sitting next to the sofa. The plant is about 6 feet away. So you will not think that plant can affect you from that far, right? But when you test it through an NAET, we can find out that is the item affecting you from 6 feet away. Okay, so those kind of things we can test through NAET testing, which there is no way you can check that and find it through the medical testing or laboratory testing, unless that person is really allergic to the item and you hold it, if that is going to show any result. So that's a kind of fine-tuned testing. We can test it like this through only NAET testing. I haven't found anybody else doing that. Now, I don't know if you can concentrate, I think, like a different kind of way you can pick up that. I don't know, like any other kind of health practice. But I haven't, with NAET it's easy. Just hold it and treat it, test it. And you can, or ask how many feet away are you reacting and test it. So you can get that way. So maybe that's what happened to your child when you tested the blood work. It did allergy blood work. It did not show anything because it was not it was not damaging his system that deeply yet to show it on the blood work.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah, I understand that. So this question I have is, you're talking about something even at a distance may affect you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
then, are we talking about perhaps the human biofield that within this like field of energy around us?
Yeah.
That in that field could be sensitive to something before it
Yeah.
even comes into the physical.
Comes to into your body. Yes.
Okay, so your biofield starts reacting first
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
something that you may have a
Right.
sensitivity to.
Right. So when I just talking about you, I'm thinking about my another patient case study. It's interesting. I had a girl coming from another state, moved to Los Angeles.
Mhm.
And she rented a posh, very posh looking apartment in Irvine area. And then she started having migraine. As soon as she rented that place and moved in there, she gets migraine every day, non-stop. As soon as she comes home, she gets migraine. And when she's away from the house, she's okay. So one of my other patients found her and they connected and she sent her to me. So she came to me. I started treating her, a lot of things, all the basics and everything finished. Then I found out her migraine was not getting better. So I told her something in your bedroom causing this problem. So she brought all the pillows and bed sheets and everything. I couldn't find any of them causing the problem, but it's something else. So finally she said, can I take you to my home? Can you check there? I said, okay. This is in my initial days. I had a lot of time. So I went with her to her house. When I went there, I went to her bedroom and she opened the curtain and there was some tree. I don't know what tree was. I forgot now. That branches were touching her patio near the bedroom. Okay. So that she had glass doors. So that energy of that plant, that was affecting her. She was so allergic to that plant that was causing her headache, migraines.
Wow.
And when I tested, it was 90 feet away. She was allergic to that plant. So even if she went to another bedroom, probably she had 2 bedrooms. So even if she would go to the other one, still this plant's energy can affect her since she was so allergic to that. Then we brought a piece of branch and we treated her. Then she stayed in a hotel for a couple of days until the required time of our avoidance. Then when she went back, she never had another headache. She kept the tree. She never removed the plant. Plant was still there and her headache never bothered her. So you need to know how to check all this distance and everything We teach all those in our classes, how to do that. So once when you do that, you will have answers to a lot of these mysterious illnesses. So that is our fun, testing through all this and finding out. So whenever we get patients like different, like nobody can find anything wrong with them. So we check them using all these kind of techniques. Then we will be able to find out what is their problems and we can treat them. Treatment is easy. The detecting and finding the problem is the hardest one. Once when you get that, treatment is really easy.
So would you recommend this for someone? Because it seems like everyone or most people are going to have certain, some sensitivities to things that they're not really aware of. And they just are kind of used to the way they feel in their body and it's their normal. So that's their baseline. But it almost feels like this is something that everyone, even if you're not trying to deal with a specific ailment or medical condition, just to perhaps feel
Right.
better and more vital.
Yeah, that's what I do now. I don't have any more allergies or anything, but we keep checking everything. And we just moved into a new house now, from the old one, closer to my son. And so we check everything. We had to do a lot more treatments, the environmental things, outside things, which are all new to me. So we keep treating. So that's why I got into the sore throat now. I treated something and I can't avoid that. So, it's fun. We know what it is. I don't panic. I know exactly what caused my problem, so I can treat it and it will get over. It's like that. Yeah, it's really, if you have time, everybody's so busy doing things this way, that way. So, but if they have interest, if they have time, they can do all this. So that's why I have described how to do all this testing in my book, Say Goodbye to Illness, which is available in Amazon.com and also NAET.com website, bookstores. So that one has all this description, how to test different things. So you don't have to be a medical doctor or any other doctor to do all this testing. You need the interest and you need the time. At least you can find out what kind of problems you have, what is associated with all that. Then if you find the item, you can go to somebody and get treated. Then you don't have to live with that.
Yeah.
Learning never stops.
Yes, that's one. So it's Say Goodbye to Illness on Amazon. If you want to start looking yourself, figuring out if you have sensitivities and what they may be, and, um, then be able to go from there. One last question, Dr. Devi, because I've found this really interesting when I've been working with Dr. Anderson. And that is often when before he just treats the whatever we're working with, he'll also clear the emotional if there's any emotional component to
Yes.
it, which and you can almost feel it like drain,
Yeah.
like you feel lighter in a way.
Right.
So that is really interesting that there is this it's not just that it's you're using the homeopathy and the acupressure and the muscle testing, which is like the kinesiology, these pieces that are all part of this treatment, but you also are dealing with the emotional aspect of it, of healing.
Right. Right. There is a book by me called Resetting Your Emotions. That one has hundreds of emotional cases and how to check your emotions, how to self-treat, everything described there. So if anybody is interested to learn that or read about more emotions, how the emotions affect your health and things like that, that book is very, very useful and which is available on NAET.com website, www.naet.com. And it is a fascinating book. Thing everybody will like that. It's really interesting. And not only just liking, I have described there how to test your emotions and how to treat your emotions on your own. You can treat it a little differently from the practitioners. They have a different technique, but your self-treatment also will work absolutely normally.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to buy that book today.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Dr. Devi, it has been such a pleasure to get you on here. I'm thrilled to understand this origin story also of how you stumbled on this magnificent technique that has helped probably at this point hundreds of thousands of people around the world, 1,000 of women for infertility alone in your clinic. So I don't even know how many thousands of people do you have an estimate on how many people have received this treatment?
In my office, I have treated over 25,000 people during practice, but each person will have many treatments.
Yeah.
You know, Once when they come in for something, then they'll have a lot more. But then I have trained all these 20,000 plus people. I don't know how many thousands they have treated. We have no idea. And most of the people will treat emotions. Everybody has emotions. A lot of
Yeah.
things evolving from emotions. Sometimes we will think, it's all just allergy, but maybe something else is causing, behind that. We don't know. So you cannot really just say only I'm just treating this sensitivity to milk or eggs or grains or something. No, but beyond that, there is more things happening. These allergies are just a clue your brain is giving there is something out of order in your body. So you need to take care of that. So sometimes it could be emotions. Somebody, when that person was eating or drinking, there was a big fight going on, or there was an earthquake happening, when that 9/11 happened, soon after California, most people were eating breakfast at that time in 9 or 10 o'clock. Soon after that, we had so many patients coming in. They cannot tolerate eggs. They were happily eating eggs before, and all of a sudden eggs and milk and bread, everything became so allergic to them. They get bloated, they get sick. Then when we tested, all of them are they were eating, and that time they were watching that incident, twin tower burning, and that caused them the emotional trauma. So we treated them, then all of a sudden they are normal. They can eat them, all the food. So emotional connection is huge with all these allergies. No matter what allergies you have, you cannot part without testing the emotions and treatments.
Oh, that is fascinating. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna definitely be buying these books. I think I have the one from I bought it when I way back when, 20 years ago. I haven't looked at it for a while, so I think I need to revisit.
That must just say goodbye to illness. The
Yes.
resetting emotion is a new one. You may not have it.
No, I don't have the new one. Okay, well, I will be
all
getting it.
these have all these have tons of emotional stories and other patients case studies, actually all real patient case studies. I have put it there so people can understand and feel how these affect their lives.
Well, Dr. Devi, thank you for taking your time and coming on. Thank you for sharing this incredible healing technique. This is something that will live far beyond all of us here. Almost when I was thinking about this yesterday, the people who study different ancient healing techniques, and you may hear of the founder of Reiki or a founder of something else. I'm like, wow, to have you here, because this, I think, will be a treatment that will be continued to be used well into the future. And so it's really a gift to have the actual founder on here telling your story. So I'm thrilled to have had this conversation.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for having me here and giving me an opportunity to share my experience a little bit with your listeners. I'm really honored. Thank
Wonderful. Thank you all for being with us. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Thanks for being here.